All right, back again on the Fantasy Football Podcast. Warning you ahead of time, this will be probably one of the shorter ones of the year. At this point, it's Week 13 in the books, looking towards Week 14, the final weekend of the regular season. As I mentioned in my email, everything at this point is pretty much speculative. There are obviously a couple of people eliminated and a couple of people in contention. I'll get into that here in a little bit, but you're not going to speculate too much on the outcome. Especially because I'm involved in it. So starting off looking at the Schindler Division, we have one team that has been eliminated, obviously one team that's been eliminated for a little while here. We're talking about Justin Deutsch. He sits at 6-20. I was able to very easily take all the points in the league and divide them in half, so we don't have to talk in hypotheticals anymore. We can talk in normal point totals. Justin has a total of 1,126 points, which puts him comfortably ahead of his opposition for the clown, Jason Plotzker. Although, as we already touched on, total points aren't really going to matter when it comes to a tiebreak, so I'll touch on that a little bit later. Justin has been eliminated from the Schindler Division. Also eliminated is Brian Deutsch. His status has not changed from last week. He's been eliminated from the division, but he's also holding on pretty solidly to the Wildcard lead. I will get into that shortly as well. So looking for the lead in the division, it's basically, really, honestly, it's Ariel. I mean, he's essentially clinched it on total points. He has 1,431 total points compared to Denneberg, who only has 1,276. Now, Denneberg is still, only 2 games back. So, what Denneberg wants to do here is go 2-0 while Ariel goes 0-2. They would still, Ariel would still win the division. He would advance to the playoffs, but at least that would get Denneberg a share of the money. Ariel's magic number to formally clinch the division is 1. Denneberg is definitely sitting pretty for second best record. Right now he's got 17 wins, and the nearest teams are myself and Smith with 15 wins. So he's definitely going to get some cash. It looks like there. Both Smith and I have a chance of tying him. I forget what the points for second, or the cash is for second overall record. I don't think it's that much, and so to split it 3 ways would be kind of a joke, so that would sort of ruin it. Denneberg's in pretty good shape as far as that's concerned, but he obviously will not be winning his division. Looking at the Lanebryant Division, eliminated Jason Plotzker. Obviously, we had touched on that. He's been out of it here for a little while. And just freshly eliminated this past weekend, John Krause. He sits at 12-14. He's got 1,224 total points, so he is out of the wild card chase. Really, this division is myself and Oaks. If you look at the scenarios, I am 15-11. I have 1,360 total points, and then Oaks is 14-12. So he's 1 game behind me, and he has a total of 1,319 total points. So I have a pretty solid lead of 41 total points over him. That's going to be a pretty wide margin to make up. So really, I'm going to have to win the division outright. I do have a 1-game lead. So looking at my scenarios, if I go 2-0, I clinch the division. I can still clinch the division if I go 1-1. If Oaks goes 1-1 or 0-2, but then and obviously I'm not hoping for this, but if I go 0-2, I would tie with Oaks if he goes 1-1, or I would win if Oaks goes 0-2. Or I would lose the division and not qualify for the playoffs if Oaks goes 2-0 and I go 0-2. So, there's a lot of scenarios there. This week I play Bootsy and Kraus. So, not the world's greatest competition, but obviously every team has a chance. And then Oaks plays Plotzker and Ariel, so he gets a bit of a layup there playing Plotzker. But obviously Ariel has been on a hot streak. So, I'm definitely hoping that I can just go 2-0 and not worry about it. I'd say realistically, there's a chance I might go 1-1. I would hope that Oaks would do the same and go 1-1, and I would still win the division by a game. All right, and if you look at the MAAM, the Middle American Miniature Maniac Division, Bootsy has been eliminated. He is 11-15 with total points 1,228, so he's definitely out of it. And that's where it stops, really. I mean, there's not much of a change. Ben had a rough 0-2 week, so he sort of fell. He kind of had the inside track, and he screwed himself because Billy ended up going 2-0. I believe Smith went 2-0 as well. So, Smith is 15-11. He's got the 1-game lead over the brothers Boris, who are both 14-12. Smith also has a pretty solid lead in total points with 1,354, whereas Ben and Billy are pretty similar. Billy has 1,275, and Ben has 1,244. So really, I mean, the scenario here, looking at Smith as he's currently in the lead, if he goes 2-0, he clinches the division. Easy as that. If he goes 1-1, he would clinch the division with Billy and Ben both going 0-2 or both going 1-1. He would tie with Billy and Ben if either one of them went 2-0 and he went 1-1. And then he would, clinch it, no matter what. If Ben and Billy lose their matchups, Smith will clinch the division, and then Smith would be eliminated if he went 0-2, and then either Ben or Billy went 2-0. So if you look at the opponents, it's going to get interesting because Ben plays Bootsy and Denenberg, but then Billy and Smith actually play each other. So Billy and Smith play each other, and then the other opponent for Billy is Brian Deutsch, who's been on a bit of a hot streak lately. And the other opponent for Smith is Kraus. So I don't know. It's interesting. I suppose you'd have to say the favor schedules Smith. I'm sorry, I screwed that up. The schedule favors Smith, but obviously there's that matchup between the two of them is going to determine pretty much the whole thing, unless Ben is able to dominate while the other guys falter. So. That's pretty much it as far as the division races are concerned. If you look at the Clown, Plotzker right now would clinch the Clown suit if he went 0-2, only if Justin goes 2-0. The Clown Bowl kind of comes into play if Plotzker goes 0-2, while Justin goes 1-1. And then obviously Justin would clinch the Clown if he goes 0-2, as he's trailing Plotzker by 1 game. So currently, if the season were to end right now, Justin would be our Clown. Justin and Plotzker play each other this weekend, so that's going to be a nice little treat. Those two play each other in kind of a pseudo Clown Bowl. It's sort of a Clown semifinal, if you will. And then Plotzker's other opponent is Oaks, as previously mentioned, and then Justin's other opponent is Denenberg. So I don't know. Honestly, realistically, looking at it, it kind of looks like Plotzker, is going to go 0-2, and I think Justin is going to go 1-1. So I think we are going to get our wish, and we are going to be headed towards a Clown Bowl. So I hope everyone is excited about that. As far as the wild card is concerned, Brian Deutsch holds an edge of 30.25 points over me for second place in the league behind Ariel, who looks to be destined to win his division. And Deutsch also has a 35.65 point lead over Smith. So really, unless he tanks the week, he shouldn't be caught. Wins and losses aren't really going to matter for him. It's really just total points. Oaks at this point trails by 71.45 and is totally out of the picture. So as I mentioned to you, really Deutsch is just concerned about, he's concerned about some other things that we'll touch on later, but he's concerned about fielding, the highest scoring team he can. It's going to be a little difficult. All right, I just see now I'm kind of defaulting here to normal fantasy talk. I was going to say it's going to be a little difficult for him because he's playing Ariel, but it doesn't matter. Like I said, it doesn't matter if he wins or loses. All that matters is the total points. So he plays Ariel and Billy. That's kind of inconsequential. So he just needs to make sure that myself or Smith doesn't overtake him by a margin of 30 or more points, and he's got nothing to worry about. So looks like he's in pretty good shape there. Yeah, that's pretty much it as far as the breakdown goes. Like I said, we're looking forward to a big weekend here. Obviously, some of the bigger matchups are looks like Plotzker versus Justin obviously is a huge one. I think that Oaks versus Ariel is a pretty big one, as it sort of impacts both races. Ariel still has an outside shot of costing himself some money if he just goes 0-2. Then obviously I'm pretty concerned with the outcome of Oaks' matchup against him, as I feel pretty confident Oaks will beat Plotzker. And then if you look at MAAM, really the big matchup of the week is Billy versus Smith. That most likely will decide the winner of that division. All right, time to open up the old mailbag here. Thank you to the two gentlemen that contributed. First question, Brian Deutsch. He says, marry, fuck, kill, Gatorade, vitamin water, greater than. I would say I would marry Gatorade, as it's a trusted brand. I would fuck vitamin water, as it's delicious every once in a while. And I would kill greater than, because despite the Cider Brothers' awesome marketing efforts, I think the stuff still tastes and looks like elephant cum. Second part of Brian's question here, he says, my wedding is the weekend of round 1 of our playoffs, just coming up here in a couple of weeks. What is proper etiquette for leaving my own brunch with hundreds of guests to watch the Aces? From the playoff-bound groom, Brian Deutsch. I would say proper etiquette would dictate that you fake some sort of chest pain and collapse to the floor in front of everyone. And then before anyone has a chance to act, we'll have Ariel and his brothers run in dressed as EMTs and stretcher you to a location where red zone and wings will be available. All right, next question. It's a multi-part question. It says, what is the nicest meal you have ever bought another person, excluding Michelle? Why'd you do it, and how did it feel? In your mind, what would be the top 3 differences between a Plotzker and Justin clown experience? We all know the location would be different, but I mean in terms of behavior, other people's reactions, general flow, and memorable parts of the night. And then thirdly, does our league need a restricted substance policy? I suggest random drug testing throughout the year and fines for anyone found to not have anything in their system off of a list of controlled substances, or at least a visible hangover. From Ben Boris. All right, well, these are all great questions, Ben. I will tackle them in order. If you made a pie chart of nice meals that I've purchased for people in my life, really 99% of them would be for Michelle. Obviously, Michelle and I have been dating for a long time. I don't really treat anyone else to meals, so I think of all the expensive meals, including just one this past weekend that I bought for Michelle, and those are the first ones that come to mind. And I'm always sort of pissed off when I pay for those. I'm kind of struggling to remember a nice meal that I might have bought for anyone else. I do recall picking up the tab for my dad's birthday last year. We went to dinner at Miramar, but my parents don't really drink, so the tab was like $80. It wasn't that bad, and I was happy to do it. I did actually this past summer buy all the cheese and sausages and chips and beer for Pearlstein and all my deadbeat friends who neglected to pay me back when we went camping over the summer, and that was like $180. So I would say it was probably the most expensive check I'd ever picked up, and it felt not good. It tasted good, but I was pissed off about them not paying me back. I don't really know Justin very well. In fact, I'm really actually not even sure that we've ever met. However, through league communications and based on knowing Brian, I have full faith in his ability to pull off the clown suit. I trust that he can do it. He's a college kid. I have no doubt that he can drink himself into oblivion. I have no doubt, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that Plotzker will be able to pull it off. The differences I see would be in sort of general affability. I think youth would dictate a certain level of reservation in Justin, whereas Plotzker would live it up to the fullest, really go balls deep. I think that no matter what the location, no matter who the clown is, it'll certainly be memorable. I'm looking forward to either option. And then finally, I do like your idea of random drug testing, drug enforcement in this league. In fact, I think we could possibly extend it a step further, do monthly cholesterol, blood pressure checks. If a league member is below a certain threshold, we would mandate a 20 wing a day diet or like a 3 cheeseburger a day diet until proper procedure can be followed. So that's pretty much it for the week. Thank you guys for listening. This is the end of the regular season here. Obviously, we will be continuing the podcast as we go into the playoffs. We will do our normal year in review for each division. And then obviously, as we're getting closer to Clown Night, we will do the third annual Coolies, the Coolerphobic Anonymous Awards. So look forward to that. And otherwise, good luck this weekend. Not you, Oaks.